Ladies and gentlemen, there is not going to be a normal Spawncast tonight because some of the cast is actually at a convention, Too Many Games, this weekend. So I thought we would still get together here with a couple of people that were available, that weren't scrambling to get things taken care of, make arrangements and all of this for travel, everything there, and talk a little bit about the week coming up, because there has been quite a bit of talk about that big Nintendo Direct that apparently everyone's expecting to happen this week coming up. We saw this Nate the Hate guy talk about it over on Twitter. So, I've seen many publications corroborate Alana Pierce's mention of it on stream. So I got RGT85, Sean, stopping by. How are we doing, Sean?
Greetings.
And then I have Max Dreamcast guy stopping by as well.
Here for the hype.
What do we think? I mean, we got to record this early on during the week, so we are kind of taking a swing here at this. I mean, we think there's a direct next week. Yes, no?
I don't think so. I'll be impressed, but has there ever been two directs this close together ever? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
We've had Pokemon. We've had like a Pokemon Presents, and then like 2 weeks later we've had a big direct. So I guess it's happened in that regard. That is a good point though when it comes to this, because I think a lot of people saw the Xenoblade Direct and they were like, well, I guess there's no like large direct next week now.
With the slander, the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Direct was the large direct.
That was it. That was the one.
That was it, man. 20 plus minutes of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and season passes and stuff like that. What more do you need?
Yeah, we had to wake Sean up. He passed out from all the Xenoblade excitement. All at once.
Recliner mode.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He got real excited for it. But I mean, I guess we can go with what the prevailing opinion right now is, that Nintendo is going to show up with some sort of direct this week coming up. It's kind of a weird time anyway, because I feel like most of us would have gotten to this point in the month and we'd be looking back on a big direct that happened like a week ago, and instead we're looking towards one that happened next week. So it's certainly a bit different now that there's no E3. I kind of hope E3 comes back next year so we can all get back on track with a normal schedule that we can kind of expect and set our clocks to. But
I agree. People underestimate how important that is. It's just nice because you know when they're gonna be seeing and talking about things like in advance, a couple weeks in advance. It's not like you have to sit there and scrounge up rumors every freaking day because so and so said something.
Well, also, I feel like sometimes people sort of forget that I feel like video games are two separate things now. There's the hype leading up to the game, and then there's the hype playing the game. And I kind of feel like E3 is that chance to even be hyped for what may happen. It's like, oh my God, Square Enix is doing something. What does that mean? Oh, a Nintendo Direct. So I don't know. Nintendo's silence has been weird this year in general.
Yeah, they have been kind of quiet, but to me, it seems like they got a big week ahead. They're going to start making a lot of noise. And they certainly have to set up some more of their 2022 schedule, because if we take a look at it, Xenoblade clearly coming up soon, right? That's the big one. I know Fire Emblem 3 Hopes, that will be out, have just released by the time this video goes up. And I'll be honest with the Warrior stuff. I'm kind of like getting maybe a bit burnt out on the pairing of Fire Emblem and Warriors. I'd like to see them do something weird.
Whoa.
I mean, I know
Fire Emblem slander. So.
I know the Legend of Zelda and Fire Emblem play into the Warriors theme really well, but like, let's do like Kid Icarus or some weird thing.
I think they're better done. Like, I like Hyrule Warriors 1 way more than 2, just because it takes from everything. Whereas Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was like, this is specifically Breath of the Wild precursor stuff. And it's kind of like, you limited, so much stuff. And it's kind of like, I kind of view them as a Telltale game. If you don't really care about the source material that much, it's not going to interest you, Well, if you don't care about Fire Emblem 3 Houses, why would you care about this game?
True.
Well, next month in July, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Digimon Survive comes out the same day. That's rough for Digimon. I'm interested in it because it seems like they were trying something new with it. And it feels like it's been a little while since I've played like a good Digimon game. So, I'll check that out. But the same day, though, that's going to be tough. And Live Alive comes out a week before that. So
that's the game I'm really looking forward to next month.
Same.
I'm very curious about that.
I'm playing the Super Nintendo version right now for the first time, and wow, that game is insane. It's like 6 games in one.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you get to pick different characters, and they all have play differently. They have different settings, backstories. It's a really cool idea for a game, and it finally makes its way outside of Japan with that HD 2D style. So yeah, I'm on that immediately. I'm gonna try to, I guess, finish it before Xenoblade and Digimon come out, so that week. But at least finish most of the stories for it. But after that, though, you kind of look across the board. I mean, August, not much going on in there for Nintendo. September, we do pick up with Splatoon 3, which is going to be a big release. And then October, Overwatch 2. Like, that's going to go to all platforms basically there. And then we get November, and we have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So it does appear that Nintendo would have to start doing things like dating Bayonetta 3. That clearly is a big one that... I mean, do we still think that's hitting this year?
I do. The fact that we haven't seen it definitely makes me nervous. It almost is the God of War syndrome, which is that everybody's promising it's coming out, but we haven't freaking seen it.
Yeah, that's the one
wouldn't
concerning
be surprised
thing.
if it slips to 2023.
Yeah, they showed gameplay for it. People were pointing out that it looked kind of rough when it was actually happening. Like the frame rate was dropping a bit, and it didn't look the greatest at times with like the resolution dropping and all those things. But I think at this point, Bayonetta 3 got announced a long time ago. That was the first year of the Switch.
Oh my God. Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, if it gets, let's say it comes out this November or even December, it'll be 5 years since it got announced to when it came out, which is one of the longer times across basically all the entire industry. Now I think about it. So yeah, that's that and Metroid Prime 4, which is going to end up being the longest in development for... I'm trying to think of another, maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake when that got announced to when it came out. That was what, 2015? And then, no, even that.
That was 5 years total, I think.
No, I guess, wow. Usually Nintendo's pretty good about this. I don't know. These games are taking a little while to get out after announcements. So I can only assume something happened in Bayonetta 3's development that really shook up the timeline on that one. But I have to imagine Bayonetta 3 is coming out this year. I'd be shocked if it didn't. Then I'd have to ask what's going on at Platinum then.
The weirdest thing is that
already, though.
that we've seen this year is that definitely Nintendo does something that Microsoft and Sony don't, which is that they'll finish a project and just put a lid on it and just sometimes hold on to it for months and months and months. Like it just seems like Xenoblade's been done since maybe March or something. It'd be weird if they were just waiting to drop Bayonetta in the most open window. I think there's all those rumors of the Metroid Prime 1 remake. I think that's another one that may be done. And if this direct does happen next week, that's what I want to see most, honestly. It's just the Metroid Prime remake, even more than Bayonetta.
I would be excited to see that make its return, essentially, since, I mean, the GameCube obviously is the last time we saw it just as a single package. It was thrown into the trilogy for the Wii and then the Wii U. But I think Metroid Prime, if they really went back and gave it, I mean, now we're seeing something like from Sony's side, Last of Us Part 1, give it like a treatment like that, where they go back, they really put some effort into fixing, or I guess you could even say like Final Fantasy Crisis Core. You look at that, because Square's calling that a remaster, but we look at it and we're like, wow, that looks way better than the PSP version. If we get that kind of treatment to Metroid Prime, I've thought about it more and more. I think it could stand on its own as like just a single title that releases physically, and all of this, Nintendo could probably place it in their holiday lineup as a pretty big release for them, especially if they change maybe one or two things in there. Maybe it'll line up with Metroid Prime 4 a bit, maybe allude to it in some way. But I expect that to be here, Max. I think that is one of their announcements as Metroid Prime remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it. And it could even give us a bit of a look or insight into what they're going to do with Metroid Prime 4 when it comes to the engine and what Retro is able to get out of the Switch, because that's something Retro Studio has been pretty good about. They get a lot out of systems that don't necessarily have a ton of horsepower. Like you look at the GameCube, yes, it was strong for its time technically, but you still look at Metroid Prime now and it looks great, like through an HDMI adapter. Like you could point at that and say that kind of looks like an Xbox 360 game, sort of. So I think Retro is going to do some pretty cool things with Metroid Prime 4. But my question is, would that even be here? We get Metroid Prime remake, remaster. Do they then go into Prime 4 teaser?
No.
Well,
okay.
let me sell you on this, Sean. I think that this is because we just how long has it been since Dread? Dread's been a year now, exactly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it came out last.
Yeah.
It came out last October, right? Yeah, October next to the OLED.
Did it? Oh yeah, because that's when they revealed it. Yeah, so I don't know. It seems like a good way of advertising it, at least. Maybe in my mind, just thinking about like show a Metroid Prime 4 trailer, even if it's short, and before people can get disappointed, be like, the legend has a conclusion, but remember where it began. Metroid Prime Origin.
It's to me, it's hard for them to show off a Metroid Prime remaster without even acknowledging Metroid Prime 4, because they did that with Dread. Do you remember? They were like, we're going to show you something Metro related. Don't worry, Metroid Prime 4 is still in development and it's going well this time. We didn't break it. So I imagine they can't show Metroid Prime and then not be like, and just move on without saying anything about Prime 4. A teaser, a cinematic, something.
I think you could.
Oh, wow. That would be...
You've done it once before. Why can't you do it again?
That'd be something.
It's obvious that game is nowhere near completion. Like,
the thing with Prime 4, though, they rebooted it 3 years ago?
But I mean...
2.5 years ago? I mean,
you just talked about how Bayonetta, it's been in development for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, but would you put Retro Studios above Platinum Games?
I mean, yes, but...
I mean, they were getting Metroid Prime games out, at a pretty quick rate back in the day. They went Prime 1, Prime 2, Prime 3. They were just rolling.
They all use the same engine, though.
That's true. I'm curious what they're going to do here with Prime 4, though. So I would like to see that one. I think that'd be cool. What about Advance Wars? Where's Advance Wars?
Oh, yeah.
No, I think that's just going to get a tweet. Like, hey, this is when we're releasing it. Bye.
Or Nintendo loves to do that thing. I don't know anybody else who does it, where they just rapid fire, like, coming soon to Nintendo Switch, and it's just a micro trailer. I think it's going to be that and a release date.
Yeah, I still think, I think Jeff Grubb mentioned it at one point. It just gets pushed out in December and they move along. To me, that makes the most sense with everything, because they still want it out this year. But
what are the rumors about a new Fire Emblem?
Sean, can you fill us in on that? I don't want you to get too excited and
supposedly
pass out over there.
There's a brand new Fire Emblem that's like already done. It involves like red and blue and stuff, and there's a good chance it could be at this Direct.
Is it supposed to come this year, or it's just in the can for early next year?
I am hopeful that it's like a stealth drop that comes out.
Shut the fuck up.
Because you got to remember, it'll be like, if that comes out, if that Direct happens next week, that will be like 3 or 4 days without new Fire Emblem stuff.
My question is, can they show us this new Fire Emblem game without also showing us Fire Emblem Kart Racer?
That's tough. I think Fire Emblem Kart Racer is going to be really good. The Fire Emblem DLC expansion for Strikers as well.
What about Fire Emblem Sports?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
They're going to come out and they're going to go, it's Super Smash Brothers, but it's just Fire Emblem, Super Fire Emblem Brothers. We've removed all the other characters and the roster looks the same. It's all Fire Emblem characters.
New Fire Emblem game, apparently it's done. So that would be something if it came out this year.
Is it by the same people, the Three Houses people?
Intelligent Systems did it, yeah. So
interesting.
Apparently, it finished up like half a year ago or something, and they were just kind of hanging out with it.
What? That's so bizarre. That's the weirdest leak I've ever heard of.
I mean, I could see it actually come out like first half of next year. I don't think it necessarily has to come out this year. I mean, I know it's a Warriors Fire Emblem game, but like the branding starts to pile up and.
I think it just depends what else they have for the rest of this year. If looking at what there is readily available, at least that's announced, I mean, you could obviously slip in another Fire Emblem game because it is a big franchise.
Let's fill up the calendar real quick. All right, so September Splatoon. What do they do in August?
Nothing.
Again, they didn't do anything in May.
Let me look at their list. That's right. They still have... Wow, yeah, they have a lot of stuff. Let's see here. Hollow Knight, Silk Song, Bright Memory. Oh, we are OFK. I don't know. No Man's Sky. Yeah, No Man's Sky's release date is still summer. I think there's a chance we could get something big that's third party. Or maybe Mario Rabbids. Is that still on track for this year?
Apparently. It's still coming out this year, apparently. I could see Ubisoft will probably act on their own and sort of put that where they want. So I wouldn't be shocked if that was November, which seems weird because Pokemon's in there, but I think Ubisoft's just gonna pick out a spot for that makes sense for their fiscal year and drop it in there. So I wouldn't mind seeing that one show up in October. I think that's a good month for it, but it could even be in December. So I think that will come out this year, though. Mario Rabbids Sparks Hope.
When's Pokemon coming out? Scarlet and Violet?
No, November, mid-November, right? November 18th.
Is Nintendo the type of people where they're sort of afraid of their own release dates, which I think they should be? Do you think that we have to? Maybe that's the only game that comes out in November, and they try and push everything else.
I can actually see them do something early November, even if they really wanted to, or late October.
Yeah.
So they could even do
They're
something.
Not afraid to drop 2 games in 1 month. I mean, Strikers and Fire Emblem are both this month.
They could do something beginning of October, then end of October if they want, for example. So like Bayonetta could drop into October, where everyone seems to be placing it just like it's coming out in October, around Halloween even. So it could be the last week of October or something. Which if I had to look at that, it would be October 28th. Drop Bayonetta in there, and then you could have Metroid Prime Remaster like the first week of October, and that would be a pretty good month then for releases. So you drop that in there, and then in August is tough because we're almost into July already. So I don't know if you put a huge release in August if this Direct's going to take place, like a month before that. So maybe a Zelda collection. Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, push it out the door. Boom. There's your August release.
Dude, I've seen weird people on Twitter sort of bagging on Twilight Princess and Wind Waker getting re-released again, but I'd buy them. Hell yeah.
A lot of people would buy them. A lot of people will say they won't, and then they'll buy them. Because it's Twilight Princess and Wind Waker.
Is it a double pack, though, or is it individual releases?
You got to do double pack. I mean, come on. You think they're going to just do it again, individual releases? Like, here it is from the Wii U, and they're 60 each.
Well, they're gonna 40 each them or something, but I do feel like they're gonna drop them individually.
I like the idea of doing the Mario 3D All Stars collection treatment to it, where you just put both of them in there and just call it a day. You get a little menu when you start it up, pick one and go. But having Wind Waker as a portable game would be kind of cool. I'll admit that. So, and I understand I keep forgetting about this. I run polls all the time on the channel where I ask people if they have played a certain game, and so many times I'm shocked at how many are just like, I wasn't playing games like that back when some of these games were released. Even like some of the classic Nintendo games that we all are like, how many times are going to release that? And then I see a poll and it's like 60% have not played this game, and it's interesting.
Well, but sometimes I vote in their polls and I just vote the wrong thing.
Oh, well, usually they'll get like 50 or 60,000 votes. So,
well, it makes me think. I think there is that phenomena where almost everybody from our generation played a lot of games as kids, and then you go through college, and that's when a lot of people sort of drift away from it. And now PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch era, it felt like a lot of people sort of went, oh yeah, gaming's actually a pretty cheap hobby compared to like building cars or heroin. So yeah, I'll pick it up, and they get back into it.
Even like the Wii era, I see a lot of people who are just didn't play all of those kind of games. So even like Skyward Sword, that's one that people are like, oh yeah, I didn't play that. So I'm curious. I think Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, there is value there at $60 for those two titles, especially if you haven't played either of them. Yeah, that's an easy one to drop in. Is
there value for $120 though?
$120? That's tough.
This is Nintendo.
I know, but
Bro,
it wasn't.
I'm boycotting. If they're 60 each, I'm buying neither, and I'm gonna make a video.
You might as well buy them on the GameCube then and hold them because they'll keep increasing in value. Mm-hmm. You might as well buy those. Just buy the originals then. I don't know. I feel like how much were they on the Wii U when they released? The Wind Waker wasn't full price, was it?
I think they were 50.
50. But they also came with amiibos, didn't they?
There was a collector's edition that was more, I think. I don't think the standard one was.
Oh, was it? Nintendo sent it to me. I don't remember.
Here's what I will tell you, though, Sean. I bet you it's a limited release like 3D All-Stars. I bet you they'd pull something like that.
Yeah, I could see that.
That if we had to put any stipulation to it, I think it would be that. It's like it's 60, but we're going to stop selling it 6 months from now or something. Like 3D All-Stars. That would be my guess. So we have... Okay, so here's another question then. If we're filling up the release Windows. Do you think they have an addition for the online service?
I would hope so.
So you think they have like a new system, Game Boy Advance?
Oh,
do they do something like that?
I love that.
Because
I would love that. I'll bet that I don't think they're gonna do that. I think that's a tweet, but I do hope that's the same week.
I think that's a September thing. If they do a September Direct, I think they'll do that in September.
Okay, just have like, hey, Game Boy is showing up, and it'll have transfer pack support with N64 expansion.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. And Pokemon Stadium's coming, and we're gonna have Pokemon Green, not even blue or red, green, some weird thing. That'd be cool.
Well, I mean, they got to do something because the N64 roadmap is done now.
Yeah, so something has to get announced. I keep hearing about that GoldenEye thing, and I do wonder still if that's going to be an N64 release or if it's just going to be that remaster also on the Switch and the Xbox, if they collaborated and made that work.
Wait, what does that mean? The N64 roadmap is done. There's not going to be any more?
They showed us a bunch of games. They've completed it because Pokemon Snap was the last one on that list.
Oh, that one. Yeah. The original. Okay.
They either have to announce more or just say, we'll get to it when we get to it. So I feel like some kind of messaging would be needed then. Unless they feel like, hey, this N64 selection is good enough for now. And that's
Stop that.
They might do that. They might be like, there's plenty here. It's all good. Hey, maybe they show up and they're like, hey, Tactics Ogre 64. There you go. Ogre Battle 64.
They still haven't done Wave Race.
Dude, I would love that.
That is weird. Why isn't Wave Race in there? That's a good point.
Maybe there's a new Wave Race coming.
Nah, that sounds too creative.
Featuring Fire Emblem characters.
Oh no,
Fire Emblem Wave. Yeah.
I wonder if they would count that in their sports kind of lineup, not like just like Mario Sports, but like sports lineup where they do a roadmap and it's like you get 4 jet skis at launch and then we'll add more later.
Oh Christ!
Shut up. Boo.
I like the idea of a wave race though. I think that'd be cool. I was trying to think of like a left field announcement that would really catch people off guard, and that's one that would be pretty cool. That or some weird third party game that people didn't think would ever happen. Or we get like a new Kid Icarus game.
Or a Star Fox or a Punch Out or Donkey Kong.
I do wonder, you think Sakurai, you figure he's working on something.
Working on his tan on the beach.
Yeah, dude, that didn't he have to be hospitalized towards the end of Ultimate or something?
That was
like
during
that
May. I think that was during Melee, was it? It was one of the, it wasn't this most recent one. I think it was a previous one either on the Wii U or the GameCube, but yeah, there was a whole thing with that.
I think that man's probably going to take 2 or 3 full years off, and he deserves it.
Probably got enough money to do it too.
So yeah, the left field announcements, collaboration with third party would be Konami for the Metal Gear games.
Stop.
We just making up fan fiction. I respect it. Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, Peace Walker. Not Metal Gear Solid 4 because that's too much work apparently.
They're going to put the Metal Gear Ghost Babel, which is the Game Boy Color ones.
What about Persona?
Yeah, that's the other third party thing. So Atlas,
it's do or die
at
for
this
Persona
point
on the Switch.
It's on the Xbox. Like, it's got to be on the Switch, right? I know Microsoft dropped the bag, right? That's obvious. And hey, the bag seems to have overflowed to PlayStation as well because Persona 4 Golden is going to be going to the PlayStation console, which we haven't had Persona 4 on a PlayStation console since the PS2. So otherwise it's been Vita. So that's good. I got to assume it is. Like, it would be so weird if they were like, yeah, we're not putting it on this system that's widely popular in Japan. I think 3 portable and Golden are going to the Switch. Man, 5 seems to be one that's up in the air though.
If they're not there at this event, it's not happening. Point blank, period.
I agree, Sean. Yeah, Sean nailed it. I do think, I have a feeling it's just gonna be Golden. I just think that the work it'll take to put Persona 3 portable on there, maybe they'll be weird about it. Persona 5 might need quite a bit of downscaling. Persona 5 is huge. That's the problem, is the game is like 200 hours long. Putting that onto a Switch, maybe that'll just be too big, but Persona 4 Golden's easy. It's
interesting that, like, because Microsoft obviously went to Sega and Atlas to get it done. I'm just surprised that Nintendo, I mean, if let's say it's not here, Nintendo wouldn't have had any kind of negotiation with them about it then or tried to push it along. It seems obvious for them to do that, but maybe they would have hoped that if they had done that, it would have also rolled into a Persona 6 multi-plat release, or Because Persona 6 releasing on the PlayStation, the Switch, PC, and yeah, even Xbox all at once would probably propel that franchise to that 10 million unit seller at some point. Because they seem to have kind of gotten stuck with Persona 5 Royal for where it was, which, I mean, they got a lot of the PlayStation ecosystem, but I think they need as much as they can to get that franchise to the next level. So
yeah,
I'm going to say that Persona 3 and 4 are in this direct and that they are going to the Switch. But it's going to say 2023 because that's apparently when they're showing up on other platforms. So not for this year, but that's I think that's a good third party pick though, is Persona. That seems obvious at this point. And the other thing that we'll kind of finish up with this one is this direct is going to take place reportedly, we'll say, around the time of this investors meeting. It's like either on the same day, just before it, just after it. It's around it basically. So Nintendo's going to be answering questions like right around that time. It's their annual investors meeting. Sean will be there.
I'll be there. I got my invest. I haven't looked at my Robinhood in weeks. I don't even.
How many shares you got with Nintendo? How many shares you got?
6, 7.
Okay, that gets you a seat at like the third row. I think you're good. You just fly on over there. And the thing that's being brought up, and people are wondering if there will be a mention of new hardware through press release, a video after the direct, or just something in the direct that mentions it. What do you guys think? Is it a possibility that Nintendo has a new piece of hardware for this holiday and that they talk about it?
No.
This holiday, no way. Next holiday, I'd say 100%.
Okay. No new hardware, and obviously people are thinking of new hardware as the 4K Switch, right? The long rumored Switch Pro
or something like it.
Okay. I think they will have new hardware this year for the holiday, and I don't know. I think it's going to trip up everyone because I think it's going to be a Switch Lite OLED.
What?
I think they're going to have a Switch Lite that just has the OLED screen, and that's going to be their new hardware for the holiday. Why? Because it's just disappointing enough to make sense.
No way. That's no way. Oh man, if that's real, man, that'll be disappointing.
Shot in the dark, but that just, to me, that sounds like something Nintendo would do.
I mean, they are pretty tone deaf a lot of times, so.
Well, I don't look at console sales. Is the Lite just selling crazy numbers?
No, that's one of the reasons why I think they might want to do a quote unquote refresh of it, reposition it as maybe a slightly more premium device with an OLED screen. That'd be my thought, because they can then cycle out the current ones and put new ones in its place, new boxes and everything, and push that for the holiday as like their big new device, just to maybe kickstart some of those sales. I don't know if they do anything else, because like the Switch OLED model, they put a LAN port in it as like, hey, look, it's got an Ethernet port. I know the original Xbox had it, but now this has it. I don't know what else they would do with the Switch Lite to kind of be like, oh, it has no OLED screen, then it has this, but an OLED screen always made more sense in the Lite than the regular Switch anyway. So,
yeah,
that they better not do that.
I think the only other feature that might, I'll be honest, I would probably buy another Switch Lite is OLED screen and way better battery life. If they said some sort of like double battery life, because like I'm about to start playing Xenoblade 2 again, and I want to play through Xenoblade 1, and I'm going to play it purely handheld. And yeah,
interesting.
If they had actually good, because this lasts like 3 hours with a big RPG, and that sucks.
See, the thing that's interesting about the Switch Lite is they can play around with its form factor because it doesn't go into a dock and it doesn't attach Joy-Cons. So they could technically make it wider or slightly thicker so that they could accommodate a better battery or a larger battery, because like the other one at least also had a kickstand and some other things that changed the form factor of it slightly, but it still has to fit in the dock. So it's possible they could do stuff with the speakers or other things, but I wouldn't mind that. That would be kind of cool if they made the Switch Lite have the best battery out of the pair. It would make sense since it's always portable. So that I think that'd be a cool idea. But yeah, I mean, this week coming up's big for Nintendo. If we're all expecting this direct and it happens, as most of us, like I said, are expecting, we'll see. We'll see what they have. I'm hoping for something surprising, if nothing else. Something we weren't expecting to pop up, whether it's a game or hardware or an accessory or some sort of new category of software for the online service. Or who knows, maybe a Tetris 99 style game, something weird.
Release dates. I want release dates, damn it.
Release dates are kind of important, yes. But that's it here for us today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, check out this week. Hoping for that Nintendo Direct. We'll be back next Saturday night, though, live, since we'll be back from the convention. And we'll see you guys then.